You're tuning in to Luminal on the Wall. Welcome. I'm your host, Becky, and joining me always is my co-host and beautiful sister, Bevy.
In our podcast, we will take a deep dive into the evil side of humanity. We will talk about suspicious deaths, shoddy investigations, and all the gory details in between.
But be warned, we will not hesitate to call BS when we hear it, which means you may not always agree with us, but we promise to lay out the evidence so you can come to your own conclusions based on what is presented.
Listeners' discretion is advised. What's up, True Crime World? I'm here with my sister, Becky.
Yes.
And she's got a great tale of cannibalism in store for all of us.
Yes, but don't mind Bevy because she was super sick last week and she sounds like a gremlin still.
Yes, and it's also part of the reason why we didn't release a podcast last week. There was no way in hell I was getting anything done.
No,
I laid on my couch like a little lump on the log and slowly withered away.
She's lump, she's lump, she's lump. She's in my head.
What the hell are you saying?
It's a song.
Oh my God. She's lump?
You don't know lump?
I don't know lump.
Lump sat alone on a buggy marsh.
Wow.
She's lump, she's lump, she's lump, she's in my head.
Well, to be fair, that's exactly what it was. So I was a lump.
You are lump.
I are a lump. What?
Okay, English.
That didn't work well. But yeah. So
I are lump.
I am quite excited for the podcast today.
As you should be. You've been requesting it for a while.
Yes. So why don't we just jump right into it? Because I can't freaking wait.
Fantastic, Bev. Now, small warning, if you do not want to hear about any type of cannibalism, this is not the story for you.
Yeah, don't listen.
Because there are some details. Interesting nonetheless, but if it creeps you out, don't listen.
All right. Well, I think on that note, we should just get right into it and get started on this crazy ass tale.
Yes.
Of cannibalism.
Let's do it. All right. So Armin Meiwes was born December 1st, 1961 in Essen, Germany. He was the only child to Dieter and Waltraud Meiwes. He did, however, have two older half-brothers from his father's previous relationship with someone else. Armin's father was a police officer, and he scrimped and he saved to buy their family's 36-room mansion that was approximately 16,000 square feet, and it was in the small town of Wustefeld.
Wow, that's a freaking huge house.
It's so big for only, I guess, 5 of them, but still 36 rooms.
It's excessive,
They
right?
could each have their own room, like six of them.
Yeah.
What would you do in even 4 of your own rooms?
How would you
Bev?
fill those rooms? You'd have to have rooms, like themed rooms.
Yes, be like, this is my ocean room for all my seashells.
This is my flower room for all of my flowers.
Bedroom 3 is actually my bedroom where I sleep.
Yeah. Bedroom 4 is for when I can't sleep and I need an extra room away from my wife.
Yeah, right. And bedroom 5 is where I do all the activities, like karate.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like oh my God. Yes.
Why, what
like
activities
karate.
would you do in that room, Bev?
Well, I was just thinking exercise. I wasn't thinking anything specific.
Yeah, I bet you weren't. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's just move it along.
So, Bev, apparently, Dieter was really unhappy with this marriage. Waltraud had gotten pregnant with Armin as, some would say, a manipulation tactic to make him stay.
Oh my gosh.
She was always accusing him of having affairs At moments, she even threatened his life, and she was just highly possessive.
That's wild.
It is wild. There was also a huge age gap between the two. Armin's mother was around 40. His father was just a little over 20.
Whoa. That is a next level cougar relationship.
Exactly.
Jeez. That'd be a lot easier to manipulate someone so much younger. At least you would think, right?
Grooming.
Grooming. Hashtag grooming.
Right? Now, unfortunately, when Armin was around 7 or 8, his father actually decided to leave the house.
Yeah, get out of that
permanently.
Manipulative situation.
Exactly. Him and his wife actually had a huge blow up. Armin was outside playing hide and seek, and all of a sudden he saw his father leave the house, get in his car, and he never came back.
Oh my gosh, that's traumatizing.
Exactly. So Armin himself was left with his mother alone.
Was she mean to him?
Bev, you are so correct. She took everything that she was, like all the anger and possession and jealousy, all that stuff that she was pointing towards his father, put it on him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. She needs a new scapegoat, right?
Exactly. So Armin's mother towards him was very domineering, again manipulative, controlling, jealous, and possessive over her son. And at the time, she also withheld affection from him. So...
Really?
Yeah, so he wasn't getting any love either.
Oh my gosh.
Poor little guy.
He gets all the bad with no good.
No good.
It's sad.
So because of the way that his mother treated him, he felt very isolated. Not to mention they were in a really small town and there wasn't very many children either.
Yeah, and he has this massive house that's empty.
Like, that alone must feel lonely.
Yeah.
Again, like, how much entertainment are your seashells? Not much.
Or your flowers. Hey, he has karate. Sorry.
By himself.
Yeah, he probably, like, yells down the hall and hears his own echo.
Talks to himself. Hello, hello. How are you? How are you? I'm good. I'm good. So sad. On top of all his isolation, he was actually a really introverted young boy. Along with all the control his mother had over him, it was really hard for him to make friends.
Yeah, you're introverted.
You're controlled by your mother, manipulative mother.
Yeah, you don't stand a chance.
Yeah, so he became a bit of a loner. And because of this, as we kind of said with the echoes in the hall, he actually utilized his imaginary friends to keep him entertained and to have some sort of comfort and friendship.
Oh, I mean, I feel like it's pretty standard for kids to do that, but when that's all you have, it's a little bit more depressing.
It definitely is depressing. Now, over the years, he kept these imaginary friends, and he did make some other friends as well in real life. But his imaginary friends turned into more of sexual fantasies in his mind, where he created fantasies of boys who showed him affection and gave him the attention he craved, everything that he did not get from his mother and more.
Whoa.
As a young boy, Armin was fascinated with the story of Hansel and Gretel. He was intrigued because of the cannibalistic witch in the story. He was also drawn to the Robinson Crusoe story because there was cannibalistic people in that story. I'm not familiar with it, but that's...
Me either.
Yeah, that's what's said. So you can see from a young age, he starts being a little more intrigued with his imaginary friends in a sexual way.
Yeah.
He starts imagining some stuff. Then he hears of these cannibal creatures in the stories.
That he likes.
Right. And so you can start to see that shift in his mind.
Right.
And where it all starts to kind of change.
Right. And it kind of seems like he's now kind of pairing the two. Like sexual fantasies with cannibalism.
Exactly. So going into his teenage years, he actually was drawn to a website that promoted cannibalism. It said that Armin would fantasize about eating his friends because if he did that, they would always be part of him. They would never leave him.
Because of his dad and his trauma with that.
So it's actually really sad where it stemmed from.
No kidding. And in a young child's mind, that's their logic and reasoning almost.
Exactly.
Because, you know, some people would think, oh, make good friends and they won't leave you. Or, you know, have a good, healthy, loving relationship and they won't leave you. No. He's thinking, I eat them.
Physically.
Stay with me forever.
Yeah. Now, even into his teenage years, his mother obviously had no idea that this is the thoughts he had or the fantasies he was living with.
Right.
Because
One who tells their freaking parents their fantasies.
Exactly.
No one. That's weird.
Yeah, not like that.
That's fucked up.
Exactly. So it's unfortunate because if she did know, she would have been able to get him some psychological help at a younger age. But because she was kind of so terrible...
Who knows how she would have dealt with it?
Yeah,
she might have just beat him up, locked him in a room like flowers in the attic.
It's possible.
Never let him out.
Yeah, I'd be like, you're a danger, sir.
Here's your rations for the day. A pea.
Sorry, it's not a human.
Holy.
Fortunately, Bev, his life kind of seemed to turn around at the age of 19. He joined the West German Army, and he actually spent 12 years serving.
Whoa. That's a long time.
I know. He had a very lengthy career. Now, while he was in the army, his cannibalistic thoughts actually evaded him for a while because all of a sudden he had control in his life.
Yeah.
And a little bit over other people.
Right.
As well, he formed healthier relationships and bonds with other men in the army.
Yeah, so he's like getting that connection and sense of belonging that he was so desperately craving.
Exactly. It was like tangible this time.
Yeah. Did you like how I used the word craving? Like a food craving?
Oh, Bev. All right, Bev. So while Armin was in the military, not only did he form healthier relationships with other army goers,
yeah,
but he actually developed a relationship with a woman.
Insert love interest here.
Exactly. However, though, it didn't actually move in that direction. They became very friendly and it just stopped there. It didn't progress.
Okay.
It was at that time Armin was struggling with his sexuality. He had a hard time figuring out what kind of gender he liked.
Well, yeah, his fantasies were about young men previously, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he finds himself in a relationship with a woman and doesn't go anywhere because he's confused.
Fair.
Now, Bev, during his stint in the army, Armin started drinking a bit more. And one Christmas, he actually got in a car accident because he was drinking and driving. He got a DUI and his license was revoked. It was, however, just a small little slap on the wrist because it wasn't long before he got his license returned. However, bad decisions happen again.
Of course.
He got in another accident, drinking and driving again.
Oh, God. So are we looking at some issues with alcohol? Or is it just two instances of him making like bad decisions?
You know what? I think it's just two instances where he made some dumb decisions.
Okay.
However, those decisions cost him a lot. He was actually expelled from the army because of it. He could no longer drive, and that affected his job.
Of course. That's so sad because obviously he was having a pretty successful career.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
so it's super heartbreaking.
Cue it in the abandonment issues, the isolation issues, and all the issues that the army kind of solved. No.
Yes.
Trigger for him? Was it a trigger for him?
Well, it wasn't so much a trigger, but the fact that he ended up having to move back home with his mother, sure as shit was.
Holy crap. No.
Yes. So at 32, Armin got kicked out of the military, had to move back in with his mother. However, moving back with his mother did lead to a more of a reversal role, as he was actually her caretaker.
Right. So did he become more domineering to her and controlling and manipulative to her because he was able to, or?
No, he actually got a new career and was a great caretaker.
Okay. That was surprising.
I know. You're like, I know what's happening next.
I'm like, I'm therapizing this shit. Yeah, I know what's going to happen. I can read between the lines.
And it's like, no, you can't. You need all the lines.
Yeah. Give them to me.
So Armin actually became a computer expert. That was the next choice of career for him. He found a job working for a company that helped maintain the computers of large companies such as banks and huge organizations like that.
Wow, that's not bad at all.
No, it seems like good considering what happened.
Yeah.
Now, in the 1990s, the internet and the World Wide Web allowed Armin to communicate with the rest of the world. he became obsessed with computers and what they could offer him. After leaving the military, Armin's cannibalistic thoughts became more intrusive, and he actually had the thought that if he was a cannibal himself and had these desires, that there was lots more people out in the world just like him.
Yeah, I could see that way of thinking, kind of. But also, wasn't he, like when he was younger, didn't he look at websites that like kind of promoted cannibalism or like showed cannibalism? So he's probably thinking, oh, it's not all that uncommon. And now that he's obsessed with computers and obsessed with the greater world that he can connect to, he's thinking, I could find me some cannibal friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because of his expertise, he was actually able to create his own websites, alter photos of young men to look like he had butchered them and post them up there, as well as he would talk to people with similar interests in cannibalism.
People that maybe commented on the photos or were like, yummy.
Bev. I mean, maybe that's how it went.
I don't know. I was just speculating.
Of course. Mm-hmm. Probably not too far-fetched.
You never know.
So it said that he would actually, in the photos that he would want to post, he would actually cut up meat into objects that looked like humans.
Oh my God.
To make it look like humans.
Right.
He also, do you know what marzipan is?
I've heard the term. I feel like I should know, but I don't.
I shouldn't have asked because
I can't remember.
Don't 100% know myself.
Okay, well, pause.
Yeah.
Pause. We have to look this up. We have to look it up.
Marzipan.
Hey, Google, what is marzipan? It is a confection consisting primarily of sugar, honey, and almond meal, sometimes augmented with almond oil or extract.
That's exactly what I thought it was.
Oh, yeah? Just as you thought?
Well, just as I thought.
Okay.
100%.
150%.
No, I was actually going to say almond something, but...
Well, then you're not too far off.
That's right. So with this marzipan, Bev, he would actually create human body figures and would slash them open and make them look real and then post those online as well to gain attention from
the viewers.
Yeah,
that is actually a lot of effort to put into that. Like, you're basically making sculptures out of marzipan in a weird, twisted fucking way. But yeah.
And making them to look like dead bodies that you slashed open.
Crazy.
Now, tragically on September 2nd in 1999, Armin returned home from work to find his mother dead. She passed away due to a heart attack. He did not kill her or eat her.
Right, because he was a good caretaker.
That's right.
Yeah.
And at that point is when Armin's life changed drastically.
So there's the trigger.
There it is. It was at this point with his mom out of the picture, Armin truly felt free. He was able to live the life that he wanted, and in the beginning of the year 2000, he was able to search online for other like-minded cannibals. He would post advertisements in contact groups and forums looking for willing volunteers so that he could fulfill his deepest, darkest desires. He wanted to find someone who was willing to be his victim.
My God. Why do I think he'll find somebody?
Because we're doing a true crime podcast.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh no.
Now, Bev, Armin's advertisement was looking for a male that was 18 to 25 years of age, good looking, but not too muscular. And when no one responded, he upped the age to around 30. And believe it or not, he got a hit.
I believe it.
The gentleman, however, eventually declined when he found out the full details of what Armin wanted to do.
That's what I was going to say. I was wondering what his ad was and if it had any like false or misrepresented info to gain interest. Who's going to be like, yeah, eat me.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like, you can eat a little tiny piece of my forearm or my bicep.
I can live without that. My bicep is fine. The interesting thing about Armin, Bev, was that he was actually looking for a consenting partner. He wasn't just pulling someone off the street.
Yeah.
He wanted consent.
I mean, props for wanting consent, I suppose.
If we're looking at the positives, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, eventually, someone did respond to this ad.
And was willing.
And was very serious about it.
Whoa.
His name was Bernd Brandes. He was 43 years old. He was a bisexual engineer, and he contacted Armin on February 14th, 2001, and was a very willing volunteer. He wanted to get eaten. Bernd himself was suffering from an extreme type of advanced masochism on his own.
Right.
His fantasy was to have his penis eaten and then slaughtered, ultimately ending his own life.
What?
Yeah, so on the one side we have Armin, who is a cannibal, and that's, well, it's weird.
It is what it is.
It's too much, yeah.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, we have someone wanting to be eaten
And
wanting
killed.
to be killed, having that be his ultimate death. Bernd was so far into his masochistic tendencies that that was his ultimate fantasy. It wasn't just pain, torture, and like other bad stuff. It was like the ultimate.
That blows my mind that someone wants that. Holy fuck. Can you get in trouble for killing someone if they want to be killed? Yes, you can.
I think assisted suicide is pretty frowned upon.
Yeah.
From person to person.
Yeah, I think it's a very controversial topic.
Yeah.
Even though I think it is allowed in a lot of places, or in some places, yeah. Hey Google, in what cities or countries is assisted suicide legal? Okay, so this is actually an interesting little tidbit then. Euthanasia is legal in Belgium, Canada, Colombia, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Portugal is awaiting regulation, Spain, and all 6 states of Australia.
You know, actually, I do remember when Canada legalized that. There was tons of controversy about it.
Yeah.
But it's with like the help of a medical professional, not just like, oh, sister, you want to die? Let me help you.
Yeah, exactly. They have to know that it's like
You're sick.
consenting of the person. It's done in a basically professional way,
ethical way.
That was the word I was looking for, because I could kill you and be like, assisted suicide, and
Right?
they'd be like, but did she want? Yeah. So no, he can't just kill this person.
No.
So him doing this or even agreeing to this is totally illegal.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, in one of the documentaries I watched in regards to this case, the one psychologist had actually mentioned the level of masochism that Burns was dealing with is actually a really strong sign that his mental health was not in a good place. But because it's like a sexual fantasy and desire, as a individual, he doesn't see that as like, oh shoot, my mental health is declining.
Right. He's thinking it would be a pleasurable thing for him.
Yeah, like I want this, I desire it. But if anyone else had known in his family, which no one did, not even his partner at the time, knew that this is what he wanted, there was no one to help encourage him to go see a mental health professional.
Right.
So there was no way of intervening to help this man.
Yeah.
So there's kind of an interesting
That's
tidbit.
tough. Yeah, I like that. I like learning about that side of it, because it is kind of sad that maybe like masochism.
Say it one more time.
Masochistic.
What?
I don't actually know how to say it in a plural form.
Masochism?
Masochism?
Masochistic?
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't fucking know. But either way, that it's like a sign of someone who's struggling with their mental health. I wonder if all degrees of masochism. I wonder if all degrees of masochism is a sign of poor mental health, or if it's just the level that he was at, like wanting his life to be ended.
That's a good question, and something I'm not sure of.
Right, but it's something that would be cool to kind of do further research into.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously because no one knew the state of Bernd,
no
one was able to intervene and stop what is about to happen from happening.
Ooh.
What we're going to do, Bev, is we are going to be reading a message exchange between Armin and Bernd.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to show you kind of both of their mindsets before the deed, we'll say, is done.
Okay.
So a couple days leading up to the death of Bernd.
Yeah.
this is what they're chatting about. So Bev is going to be burned under Cater99.
That's his username.
Yep. And I'm going to be Armin under Entrophagus. Now, these writings have been translated from German to English, so they might sound like poor English in some of the readings, but just you get the gist and we'll go with it.
Okay. For the sake of their conversation, they refer to each other as their usernames. Okay. So, hello.
Hi, Cater. What do you do professionally that you are up so late at night?
I can't sleep well anymore because of our meeting.
That's a sensible reason. Yesterday, I was incredibly tired. It was a stressful day.
I'm in telecommunications.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
I believe you.
I'm looking forward to our meeting. It will definitely be really cool.
I want it to be. I hope it'll be really cool. Are you setting an alarm clock?
It's only a few days until March 9th.
Still, I would have rather met you yesterday and felt your teeth.
One can't have everything. There's still some time before you really feel my teeth.
I hardly know what to expect. Have you slaughtered a man before?
Unfortunately, only in my dreams. But in my thoughts, I do it every night.
So I'm the first? You have eaten human flesh before or you haven't?
No, you don't exactly find it in the supermarket, unfortunately.
How do you know if it will taste good to you or that the blood won't make you sick?
I'm readying myself with my dreams. Once I was so excited, I grabbed a needle and drew my own blood so I could drink it.
And your blood, it tasted good to you?
It was quite tasty. Once I was drilling some holes and the drill slipped right into my hand. That was a real treat. Blood is the juice of life. It contains everything a person needs for nutrition.
Then I hope you won't wilt, that you can really see it through without a problem.
To bite into your penis will certainly not be easy. Living flesh is somewhat more resistant than fried. But one thing is certain, our dream will be fulfilled.
But there's not so much in it as there is in muscle.
Yeah, but the penis is principally a spongy material filled with blood.
For both our sakes, I hope that's true. I hope you have also already thought about what's to be done with the rest. Fulfilling the dream shouldn't become a nightmare for you. No one will know where I've disappeared to.
After you're dead, I'll take you out and expertly carve you up. Except for a pair of knees and some fleshy trash. Skin, cartilage, and tendons. There won't be much of you left.
There will be a good bit like the knees. I hope you have a good hiding place for them.
I'll dry out the knees and grind them up soon after.
Okay, they're good as fertilizer. I heard that once. I see you've thought about it. Good. Sounds like I'm the first.
And you won't be the last, hopefully. I've already considered catching a young person from the street, but I would rather kill only those who want to be killed.
That also doesn't sound bad. But yeah, seeing as it's not so totally legal, this is in my eyes better than yanking somebody directly off the street.
Exactly. I'd do it if it were legal.
Wow.
So you can actually see that they're both consenting.
100%, yeah.
And a little excited about it.
Totally excited about it.
So it does kind of bring in the question, like, even though, yes, I know ending someone's life is completely illegal.
Yeah.
They're both 100% willing participants and want this.
Totally. Like, they're speaking of it as though it's their dream, right? But I also understood what that psychologist was saying a little bit. Like, he wants to die.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know it's a fantasy, but he does not want to live. Like, he's totally fine. Like, people will be wondering about where I went. So I can kind of see that mental health aspect to it a little bit while I was reading that.
Well, exactly.
And it's so fucking twisted. They're talking about, like, drinking blood like it's this casual thing. Like
great nutrition.
Use my bones as fertilizer. I heard that's a good thing to do. Blah, blah, blah. Like, what?
Yeah. So at this time, Bev, Bernd had a partner. And as I kind of mentioned earlier, he kept all of this fantasy away from him. His partner didn't even know that he was masochistic in any way.
Which is wild to me.
Exactly.
Like, your partner, someone you're supposed to trust with
that side of you.
And he can't. Probably because it's so extreme, right? It's not just like, oh, whip me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in the past, Bernd had actually had partners that he opened up to a little bit, and it actually led to the ending of their relationship.
Oh, so he was probably a little fearful to express that to his partner.
Absolutely.
In the future.
Mm-hmm. Now, not only did he keep all these fantasies from him, he kept the whole meeting with Armin away from them. He had actually prepared for this ending of his life. He had sold his vehicles, and deleted all of like his hard drive from the computer, so there was no trace of this incident, because it was his desire and fantasy. He didn't want Armin to get in trouble for it.
Ah, yes.
So he thought it out.
Yeah.
And he told his partner that he was actually going away on a business trip.
Wow.
But he did buy a one-way ticket from Berlin to Kassel for March 9th.
It has all the markings of someone like who's ending their life.
Yeah, like getting everything prepared for end of life.
Yeah, getting rid of all of their valuable items, etc., right?
Yeah, it's
one-way ticket.
And obviously his partner didn't know that was going on, so there's no way to tell.
No, he
It's
just
so
thinks
sad.
his partner's going away for a little bit.
Yeah. So on March 9th, Armin picks up Bernd at Kassel Station. The pair then drive back to Armin's family home together. When they get to the Meiwes estate, Armin leaves Bernd in the living room. He heads to the kitchen to make them each a cup of coffee. He had told eventually investigators that when he returned with the coffee, Bernd had stripped down to his birthday suit and said to him, "I want you to admire your dinner."
Whoa.
So
my
he
God.
was ready to like get into it. Now, even though Bernd was like ready to get going, he had told Armin that he did wish to be a little unconscious or
sedated a little bit for
Yeah,
the pain, maybe. Oh, no,
exact-
that doesn't make sense. Because he's a masochist. He wants to feel the pain, no? Or does he not want to feel the full pain of like
Yeah.
getting his
yeah, like
penis
he
cut
wanted
off?
to be a little like have it
Be muted, like the
a
pain.
little bit, yeah.
Okay.
exactly. So he proceeded to drink half a bottle of cold medicine. He told Armin, "When I'm out, you can castrate me." About half an hour later, when he was still alert, he changed his mind. He requested that Armin take him back to Kassel so that he could go home.
Oh my God, no way. He had regret.
Yes. Fortunately,
No.
nothing besides just drinking cold medicine had happened.
Yet.
However, Armin, this is going to sound weird, being the good guy that he, I guess, is, wanting consent, he said, "Okay, I'll take you."
No way. Another shocking turn of events.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming. hey?
Armin's a little surprising to me sometimes.
He is. So, at his request, Armin takes him back to Kassel. However, on the drive there, Bernd was faced with his own dilemma. He all of a sudden became worried about explaining this scenario to his then partner and what confrontation might ensue.
Like another man driving him home.
Well, he would have to explain like why he didn't go on a business trip.
Why he sold his vehicle, maybe.
Yeah,
Because that would come out, you would think.
for sure. Like everything combined, it just doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So either you're going to lie, make this extravagant story,
Mm-hmm.
possibly have the truth come out in the end, or come clean and just deal with those consequences. So within that dilemma, again, Bernd changed his mind.
My God.
He told Armin that he wanted to go back to the Meiwes estate and follow through with the original plan and fantasy. Although, Bev, he wanted to be a bit more sedated than before. I think he was a little scared.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, how painful must it be? I'm assuming a lot.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's like freaking torturous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that dilemma, he ultimately still had this driving fantasy. And because there was kind of like up and down, Armin decides that, you know what, I'm going to videotape this to kind of show my side,
Right.
but also keep this as a memory.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. So on the way back, before going home, they actually stopped at a drugstore to get some sleeping pills and a stronger cold medicine. When they returned, they waited for the pills to kick in, and thus the amputation of Bernd's appendage commenced.
My God.
Armin first used a kitchen knife, but it was too dull.
Oh, my God.
It just wasn't working. So he went and found a sharper knife and eventually was successful and had cut off Bernd's penis. The two men had both wanted to eat the dick.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Oh, my God.
Is there a different term if you want to eat your own self?
Oh, I don't think so.
'Cause there's a cannibal, but like, does that constitute if you choose to eat your own arm? Now, the issue with the dick, Bev, which is something I really never thought I'd say in this context specifically, was that it was just too chewy.
Oh my God.
So in their little message exchange, they're right. It was hard to eat.
Too spongy.
Too
I think is the term they use.
Exactly. So Armin decided to fry the penis.
Right.
Now, he did so with salt and pepper, wine, and garlic. Like, let's make it
Oh
feast.
my
Let's make it
God.
taste real good.
How long are these meds gonna keep him from feeling what just happened? Holy hell.
That's a good question. I really have no idea. So
He's just sitting in the living room as his dick is being cooked.
prepared.
Oh my God.
This fine dining scenario.
Oh.
In some of the articles I read, it said that Armin burnt the penis.
Oh, God damn it, Armin.
I know. Like, no wonder it didn't taste good. Just kidding. No, I only read that in some, but some don't have any mention, so I'm not 100% sure if he burnt it or not. Get it?
Burned. Oh, God.
I didn't mean to do that, but I heard it.
Oh,
bad,
God.
Becky.
Bad.
Ooh. So, at a later date, Armin said that the dick didn't taste as good as he thought it would. However, it did achieve the ultimate connection he longed for. Once they ate the dick,
Yeah.
Bernd had lost a lot of blood already. He was feeling weak. He was feeling cold from the blood loss. So it was his idea to go sit in a hot bath to warm up, and that way he would slowly lose blood, and they thought he would eventually just pass away in the tub. Armin got the bath ready, set him up, and he actually sat there with him for a little bit, and he was reading a Star Trek novel.
Whoa.
Just waiting.
Whoa.
Reading and waiting.
Jeez.
He didn't die right away. So Armin kind of got about with his day, started doing stuff around the house, and would check on him every 10 to 20 minutes. At one point, he just heard Bernd yell for him. He ran into the bathroom, found him laying unconscious on the floor.
Oh my God. So he tried to get up?
Get up and out of the bathtub.
Well, I mean, how long can one sit in a bathtub without dying?
Just a couple hours.
Oh my God.
2, in fact. At that point, Armin decided, I'm going to take him to a bed. I'm going to have him be cozy there.
His caretaker nature is just coming out.
Yes, it did. So Armin moves Bernd to the bed. And Bernd says, if I'm alive in the morning, they will both feast on the remainder of his genitalia. His balls.
Oh my God.
However, at any point, Armin must not call an ambulance, no matter how much pain he's in or anything.
Right.
It took Bernd till 5 a.m. the following morning to pass away.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine
that's a long
the
time.
agony.
No kidding.
So, on March 10th, 2001, Bernd is officially passed away. It was only 17 hours after he had gotten to Armin's house. Because he was dead, Armin now decided to butcher the rest of his body, just like how they agreed upon. When he was younger, he had seen a bunch of animals get butchered, and he tried to emulate that. Now, through all his butchering, at one point he had ended up pulverizing some of Bernd's bones, like they discussed, so that he could get rid of them easily.
And use them as fertilizer.
Apparently. Oddly enough, he chose to keep the head.
What the hell?
Like a token?
I guess. But you'd have to keep it frozen. Like, what?
Well, that's what he did. He kept it frozen
In his freezer.
in his freezer trophy
Like
cage.
Jeffrey Dahmer style.
Yes, quite like that.
That's sick and twisted.
It sure as shit is. Now, 2 days later on March 12th, he cooked his first solo meal. Apparently, it was a filet made with pepper sauce. However, he ran into the exact same problem as the dick.
Didn't taste so good?
Yeah, it didn't taste the greatest, and it was just chewy. Because of that, it was a bit unappetizing to him, and he ended up mincing the meat and turned a bunch into meatballs.
I am very surprised that he continues like, okay, I ate the dick. It doesn't taste good. I eat a fillet. It doesn't taste good. Let me keep trying and finding out different ways that I can continue to be a cannibal.
Yes, because I am a cannibal. That's how I feel with liver. It just doesn't taste good. You could make it into meatballs. Probably won't taste good. But I'm sure there is one way that I could find it appetizing.
Maybe.
But does that mean I want to eat liver all the time? Fuck no.
No, but he seems committed to being a cannibal. So does he enjoy the meatballs at least?
Yes.
All right. So he found his way.
Exactly. So through all of his butchering, he recorded it, just like he was recording Burn. He recorded the butchering. He recorded his process.
Did he record himself eating the meatballs?
You know, that I actually don't know. But it said that he kept that video to watch on just...
Repeat?
Yeah.
Over and over again?
See what he did. He enjoyed the process, I guess.
Man. Could you imagine being the person that found those videos and had to watch them? Like, as an investigator, you could imagine that somebody would have to watch those videos.
You are correct.
Oh.
But I could not imagine having to do so.
No, it'd be tough. Like, that'd be disgusting.
Freaky.
Yeah, freaky deaky.
So obviously,
Yeah.
Burned is dead. He's not coming home.
Yeah.
His partner, Rennie Yesnick, he obviously is concerned when his love didn't come home.
From his business trip.
Yeah, he called the police.
Right.
Now, because Byrne had taken so many precautions to hide where he was going, what he was up to, they didn't find anything. So they were kind of just at a loss for words. Where did this man go?
Yeah.
You know?
Seemingly just disappeared into thin air.
Yeah, it was just some big old mystery. Now, you must be wondering, if they couldn't find Byrne, how did they catch Armin?
Yeah, I'm totally wondering that.
Right? Because there was absolutely nothing connecting him.
Right. And in my mind, all I'm thinking is that he has to have tried to get another victim.
And you're right.
Oh.
And that is exactly how he got caught. He continued his cannibalistic yearning, and he literally had the taste of human flesh in his mouth. He wanted to experience this all over again.
But would he get consent this time?
Well, the funny thing is he's big on consent, Bev. He wants consent. He doesn't like the idea of taking some rando off the street and eating them. He likes to it seems like he wants to help provide this service and this fantasy.
The helpful cannibal.
Right? The helpful cannibal. By June of that same year, Armin was back online looking for a willing suitor. He had posted photos of what he had done to Burned, and all of a sudden, he became somewhat of a legend to all the other cannibals and masochists online. The reason why he kind of became this legend is because these people are online fantasizing about cannibalism.
Yeah, and he's out there doing it.
Exactly. So when they see him posting these photos, not just using
they're like,
marzipan,
oh my God, my hero.
Exactly,
Yeah,
Beth.
totally.
Armin had actually been so bold to actually put his crime online so that anyone can see it. And as the internet becomes bigger and bigger, more people have access to this. And in July of 2002, a 23-year-old medical student named Reinhold actually stumbles across one of Armin's advertisements for a willing victim. He thinks to himself, there's no way this is real.
Right.
So he reaches out.
Oh my gosh.
Armin replies back because, as we know, he's friggin' serious.
Yeah, of course.
In this scenario, Armin thinks that Reinhold is someone interested in his proposition.
Yeah, not just someone being like, this is a fake effing advertisement. Let me test this out.
Exactly. When in reality, Reinhold found this completely disturbing. However, he was able to get enough information out of Armin to come to the conclusion that Armin had actually committed a murder. Eventually, Reinhold reports this crime to the authorities, and this is the beginning of the criminal proceedings ahead.
Wow. So just by talking to him, he admits to the crime.
Yeah, he's like doing a bit of bragging.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Good for this guy reporting it to the cops.
I know. But also I had to think when I read that, I was like, what are you doing on this part of the web? Why were you there in the first place, sir?
Yeah, no doubt. Maybe he's like a medical student, kind of just, maybe he just stumbled upon it. Like he was looking at something innocent, but then, you know, being a medical student and all, maybe he searched up something that brought it up.
We've all looked
Who
weird
knows?
stuff up on Google.
Speak for yourself. I'm totally a pure Googleist.
Yo, we both used to watch Rotten.com.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Rotten.com. Wow. Wow.
I was scarred by that site many
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
I hate to even think about the things I saw.
Damn.
Why was that a thing? Why are humans so curious, even when it's not good?
I don't know.
I saw a baby in a jar.
Holy fuck, Becky.
I was like 8.
That's disgusting.
I know.
That's so sad.
You just get one other kid being like, "Oh, go
I
check
feel
out
like I did watch a
Rotten.com."
murder of like someone like with an ice pick or something. Like not, wasn't it like someone got killed in the woods or something? And it was
Yeah,
online?
you showed that to me, and I felt really weird about it.
Yeah, I feel like we all thought it was like almost fake. Like no way that could be real.
But then when you watched it, you're sitting there with that like
Pit in your stomach.
and you're like, I think I just watched someone die.
Yeah. So I guess now we know.
Now, on November 28th, 2002, just months after Reinhold had started talking to Armin, the District Court of Rottenburg issued a warrant for Armin for suspicion of presentation of violence. So posting it online.
Right. Like that's something they have proof of
Yeah, exactly.
right then. So
We shall go look for more evidence. So the police did show up at Armin's house with a warrant. They were able to search the home and the stables to collect evidence. They took samples from the freezer and they arrested Armin. They took him in for questioning. However, at that time, the police had actually not found any evidence.
So they didn't find Burns' head?
No. Well, okay, actually, I don't know of the specifics that they found in the freezer,
Right.
but they found no conclusive evidence at that time because all the stuff in the freezer had to be sent out to get tested.
Okay.
So they didn't have anything concrete right then.
Right.
So they questioned him, but let him go. Now, once Armin was released, he actually contacted a lawyer. He was smart. He needed protection, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
He had gone and told the lawyer all the things that he did, and he wanted to know the best way to get out of this predicament. The lawyer told him that we need to go to the courts and speak with the judge right now. Now, because there were no arrests, there wasn't any evidence, the judge actually said, go home, basically wait for the police to come and talk to you further and see what happens next.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, Armin actually did not deny what he did, but he did tell everyone that it happened because Bernd demanded this and he wanted this. So he didn't think that he did anything wrong. He said it was Bernd's idea to cut off his penis and that it was just mutually beneficial. Bernd could fulfill his masochistic fantasy and Armin could eat his flesh. On December 10th, 2002, Armin was taken to Regional Criminal Inspector's headquarters, and at that point, Armin had given the police all the details of what transpired that day, and then the following morning. Armin took them to his house to give them all evidence that he had and what they needed, and that included Bernd Brand's skeleton was excavated from his property. They found 36 pouches of meat in Armin's freezer. It was estimated at that time Armin had eaten a little over 30 kilograms.
My
Of Bernd.
God.
I know.
Wow.
So that was about 1/3
Yeah.
of his weight.
That is freaking insane. That's a lot of food to eat.
It is, isn't it?
Food. I can't even call it food. I'm sorry. That's a lot of human to eat.
Yeah, it is. Ugh. Once Armin led the police to this evidence, he was formally arrested and brought to Castle Penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
The video that was given to the police had corroborated Armin's story. So they're thinking on the plus side, he told them the truth. And Bernd Brand's family was informed of this tragedy.
Dang.
Now, initially, they think he's telling the truth. But When analyzing Byrne's remains, the medical examiner did a toxicology report. He had been able to tell what and how much was in Byrne's system. He was intoxicated with alcohol, he had sleeping pills in his system, as well as cough medicine. Although intoxicated, the levels they saw would have left Byrne still conscious and able to feel a lot of pain.
Yeah.
The medical examiner noted that the amount of pain that he would have been in was astronomical. And you can tell this because of the video that was made by Armin. It showed Byrne screaming in pain for a solid 2 minutes. Now, approximately 2 years after Byrne died, Armin pled guilty to the assisted suicide. With this plea, he was forced to answer questions and testify as to what had actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is where there's quite a bit of controversy in Germany.
Okay.
Okay, so Armin pled guilty to assisted suicide, which at that time was very frowned upon.
Yes.
Well, it's frowned upon unless you're a medical professional either way.
Yeah.
So that's wrong. But the weird thing is that cannibalism, it is defined as a non-consensual consumption of another human being.
Oh my gosh, but he gave consent.
Exactly.
Wow, no way.
And on top of that, Bev, in most countries around the world, cannibalism is actually not illegal. It's a little taboo, a lot taboo, but it is not illegal. However, most people, when they turn to cannibalism, how they get the body and how that person was killed is ultimately the issue. Were they murdered? Did someone just stumble upon a body and eat it?
Yeah.
You know?
There's a lot of gray area, especially considering just the act of eating human flesh is not illegal.
Exactly. Now, according to German law, and why Armin did kill Byrne doesn't actually fit the charge of murder. And that would constitute that there is like a motive.
Right.
Like, I'm going to kill someone for purely sexual gratification, or Armin's going to like choose to murder this guy and actually like aggressively kill him, basically, right?
Yeah. Whereas like this was like wanted by both parties. So it's a little different.
Yeah. Again, a gray area.
Yeah.
So according to the law, it doesn't actually fit the charge of murder. So they tried him for manslaughter. Armin did not agree with this because he believes that he was just carrying out Byrne's wishes. And it just so happened that he got to utilize his corpse for food, but did not murder him. And then on January 30th, 2004, Armin was found guilty of manslaughter. He was sentenced to 8.5 years in prison. Armin did not like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said,
he didn't agree with
he's
manslaughter.
Yeah, he doesn't think there was anything wrong with what he did. So he appeals this conviction. He claims that Byrne wanted to be killed for his own sexual gratification and that he himself wanted his penis to be eaten and that death was just a result of that sex act.
Yeah, which is fair. However, Armin did provide the means for his death to take place in the manner in which he wanted it. Like, he was the one that initiated the advertisement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's another thing to consider, because if not for Armin, that would not have been possible for Byrne, you know?
Exactly. Or would he have just found someone else to do it?
Yeah, maybe he would have found another willing person, maybe, right?
It's hard to say. So
yeah,
exactly. Well, on April 22nd, 2005, the Court of Appeals reversed the judgment made in Kassel.
Oh my God.
A new trial was granted. It began January 12th, 2006. The big question that the prosecution wanted to know, did Bernd Brandes die because of Armin Meiwes' sexual gratification, or was it truly at his request? The argument that could be made against Armin is that, one, he did go out searching for this type of subject.
Exactly.
Yeah. And he admitted to the police that on several occasions he rewatched that video and would masturbate to it. So how can you say this was not Armin's plan all along?
Right. He just so happened to find someone who was willing. And would he have gone out of his way to find somebody who was not consensual if he couldn't find anybody, right?
Well, exactly. So kind of hearing that, you could almost assume that he is just responsible for that murder.
Okay.
Or that death, we'll say.
So that's one side of it.
Mm-hmm. Again, the gray area is that Bernd wanted this. We saw it in the text exchange.
Yeah.
It was consenting.
Totally. I mean, he even second guessed, and Armin literally was like, okay, no problem. You don't want this. I'm going to bring you home.
Yeah.
And then he again decided, no, it's what I want. And that is when Armin decided to go back to his house and finish it.
Yeah, and film it, right?
Yeah, so when you think about that, it does make it seem like he was seeking out that consent above all else, and that he wasn't just willing to do it to somebody who didn't consent.
Yeah, like he wasn't just in there for the kill for the sake of killing, right?
Absolutely.
So the court then argued that Bernd was intoxicated enough that he wasn't completely able to make his own decisions. So once he got there and had made up his mind, he then became intoxicated. Could he have said no and changed his mind again if he wasn't? And it kind of comes down to that whole general consent. Even nowadays, if someone is intoxicated, or too intoxicated that maybe they can't stand up for themselves or say, no, I don't want this anymore, is it then still consensual, right?
Yeah,
Or
I
it's
get
not
that
considered
argument.
consensual.
I do get that argument.
However, him changing his mind and then coming back and then eating the dick kind of leads me to believe, no, he probably did want that.
Yeah, exactly.
But the fact that there's that gray area is the concern, and I understand that 100%.
Yes.
Could he have just been taken advantage of, like, I'm too far gone, let's just follow through with it? I don't know. Another thing that we need to take into consideration in regards to, did Armin kill him or is it manslaughter, is that the medical pathologist, when he looked at the video or watched it of Bernd being slaughtered and cut up, it was noted that in the video, he was still seen breathing, like his chest was moving. So Armin said that he had passed away in bed, and after that, he had then butchered him.
Yes.
But in the video, it shows that he was still breathing and actually moved his head.
Whoa.
Before Armin stabbed him in the neck.
Ah.
So that's their argument, is that Armin stabbed him while he was alive. He physically caused his death by stabbing him. After he stabbed him in the neck and many other places and cut him up, he then died because of those injuries. Throughout the trial, Armin insists that he thought Bernd was dead. But the question that prosecutors had was, if you think someone is dead, why are you stabbing them in the neck? What is the purpose of that?
Yeah.
Because if you thought he's dead and you're just butchering him,
then just go ahead with the butchering. There's no need to stab.
Exactly. So that's, again, like, not logical, right? Throughout Armin's trial, it said that he really catered to the public. And when I say catered, I mean he was super polite. He was smiling all the time in photos. He was super charming. But not once did he show an ounce of remorse. And, I mean, with his theory that he did nothing wrong, why would you feel remorse?
And why would you feel remorse if you were literally carrying out somebody's wishes? Right? Like, in this whole case, Bernd wanted to die. So for him, what is he remorseful about?
Well, exactly.
Maybe just that a man's life was ended, period. But do you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to feel remorse for somebody who wanted to die, and then you just helped them with that.
Well, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And it seemed as though he was really proud of what he did, that he was able to help this man.
Exactly.
With his sexual needs, and that he also got what he wanted out of it.
Yeah, it was like a mutual act of like fulfilling both of their desires. So I'm sure that's how he saw it. So that's what I mean. Like, why would he ever feel remorse for that?
Exactly. So unfortunately, though, that looks terrible as you're sitting in court and they're reviewing this case and trying to prove whether you are or not guilty, right?
Yeah.
Like the jury literally sits there and be like, this fucking guy.
Yeah,
he is
totally.
smiling. Like he doesn't seem like he did anything bad.
Yeah. I think the other thing to think about is that all the jurors and everyone in the court probably are looking at this from the mind frame that cannibalism, murder, the death, cutting off people's dicks is like outrageous.
Yes.
But the two people involved in it, like for them, this was desirable. Like it wasn't this like grotesque, nasty thing, right? It was like a sexual fantasy for them.
Exactly.
So I think they, like everyone in that court probably looked at it so differently than the two people actually involved.
Oh, 100%. Because like, really, how can you put yourself in that situation, right?
Yeah.
You're not a cannibal. You'll never know. You're not masochistic. You just don't know.
You don't understand people who are like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So after hearing all the evidence, all the testimony, and reviewing the previous case, the court found Armin guilty of murder.
Wow.
On May 9th, 2006. He was sentenced to life, which in Germany is not as harsh as here. It is a minimum of 15 years with possibility of parole after that.
Okay.
Now, apparently, after his conviction, Armin became a vegetarian and is working on a memoir.
What?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
I know. I'm like, are you only vegetarian because you just can't eat humans in jail?
I mean, potentially.
Beef is not like human.
I don't know. Or is that a sign of remorse? Changing of his ways?
It could go either way, Bev.
That's wild, Becky.
I know. Now, Bev, in a more recent update, in 2018, Armin appealed for release. However, permanent release was denied, although he has been allowed to leave the prison and walk through the streets in disguise as part of a prison release scheme. I don't really understand that or know why they do that. It's like, let's just see how you do.
Okay.
So people don't kill you when they recognize you.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I was thinking of when you said it.
Yeah, but he was denied permanent release at that
Wow,
point.
so he is allowed out and about, which I do have to say, and this might sound totally twisted, but I don't feel like he would be such a great risk to the public by just being allowed out temporarily, solely because I do feel like consent for him was a major component to him and like his method.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would just snatch somebody up and just, you know.
Yeah, you wouldn't think. However, we also know that criminals, they start off and they can progress as they get more involved, right?
Yeah, and if he has zero access to anything cannibal in jail, he might feel the desire even stronger. Or it could be like how he was in the army, where maybe he has some type of fulfillment in the jail. You know, he's working on a memoir, and maybe he has truly
made
transformed.
Oh,
yeah.
Transformed, yes.
Made some friends. Yeah, maybe. But it's hard to say.
It is hard to say. I also read an update that Armin is helping consult with investigators about other cannibalistic cases and giving them insight. To what level, I don't really know, but it was just a tidbit. Be like, okay, let's use your
fucked up mind
for maybe something good. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that is the last I heard and found on him.
Wow, he's an interesting character, to say the least.
Yes, I would be curious to know what other people think. Should he have gone to jail for manslaughter?
Yeah.
Or do you think he belongs in prison under the murder charge? I could go either way. I could argue both sides. I'm a little conflicted with both for different reasons. So
I know, oddly enough, and this might sound so messed up to some people, but he has this almost like endearing quality about him where, you know, yeah, he literally cut a guy's dick off and ate it and ate him. And what he did was disgusting and totally
immoral,
like 100%. But on the flip side, like, he's a guy who took care of his mom, even though she was horrible to him. You know, he asked for consent, and that was like what he desired, was a consenting victim.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
he was willing to take
him home.
back home.
I know. So it's just like almost weird. You kind of feel conflicted about it all.
Absolutely. Because like you recognize that it is wrong.
Totally. But you're like, you did it in the nicest way possible. Like, for such a bad thing.
Yeah. It's, like you said, it's just super conflicting.
Yeah.
So anyone who's listening, like, please go follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think of this case, where you stand. If you have any other perspective on it, we'd love to hear.
Yeah.
But other than that, Bev, that's all I got for today.
Oh, by the way, our Instagram is Luminal on the Wall.
Should probably tell you.
Go to our Instagram. The greater Instagram?
The general.
The general Instagram.
The metaverse? What?
Yeah, go to Luminal on the Wall. You can catch us on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, just let us know what you think. Anyways, thanks for sharing, Beck.
Thanks for listening.